Okay, set up this camera here. Awesome. All right, everybody. Well, I have a little surprise for you. I wanted to show you one of my biggest hobbies. This is my model train set. And talking about being creative, I wanted to share in something most fitting in my train set. A place that has been so crucial to my creative process and problem solving, thinking, and I wanted to first start this off by saying how appreciative and grateful I am for my community and just how supportive you are and how conversational you are and how much you're willing to share. And I say this all the time, but sharing is so important. And when you come onto this video, please just share where you're from and what you're looking for to get out of this workshop, which is talking about creativity and how we can find and spark our kids' creativity at home. Okay, so talking about my train set, which I'll give you guys a tour in a minute. And I finally got the trains working after a long time of renovation and updating. But these trains, my model railroad, was a absolute monumental part to my creative process when I was younger. I've shared my story about my time as a sixth grader being misunderstood and labeled because I learned differently, and I was able to find my creative potential and my confidence from my love and passion for model trains. And when it comes to our kids and the things that they're interested in, sometimes those interests may actually save their life. And my trains saved mine. And to really kick this off, if you guys have any questions regarding creativity and some of the current challenges that you're facing right now at home, I know in quarantine, kids that I'm working with, I run a mentorship program for kids and young adults with dyslexia and ADHD, and they're struggling. A lot of these kids are playing Roblox and Minecraft and video games, and they're not able to see their friends, and they're starting to get bored. And parents are starting to run out of ideas. And this is going to be a little brainstorm. I want this to be conversational. So at this point, I want to just share creativity in kids with ADHD and creativity with kids with dyslexia. Now, with ADHD, there's three aspects of creative cognition in general, but in particular with kids with ADHD. These three parts is diversion thinking, conceptual expansion, and overcoming knowledge constraints. Now, here's what's cool. Diversion thinking, which is like the ability to think of many ideas from a single starting point, which is critical to creative thinking, is exceptionally high with those with ADHD. And on top of that, for the other two parts to the creative cognition, which is conceptual expansion and overcoming knowledge constraints, is also seen very high with kids and young adults. Those with ADHD are able to take those three parts and do them very well. Now, for dyslexia, it's a little bit different because unfortunately there's not been any research that has come out yet linking high levels of creativity and dyslexia. But honestly, guys, we've heard the stories. We've seen the results for successful entrepreneurs, musicians, and artists that all have dyslexia. There has to be a correlation, a connection. It's only a matter of time before we start to see these scientists coming out with data showing this connection. But regardless, these are all forms of superpowers that our kids with ADHD and dyslexia both have and are able to do. So how do we do this at home? How do we spark creativity at home for our kids in ways that are, well, more creative than the ones that we have thought of that will spark them? Now, let's first talk superheroes, because I love superheroes, okay? The hero's journey is something that's very unique because, again, parents and kids can watch a superhero movie, both love it, and both have different takeaways. And I find that to be fascinating, okay? Because when you think about a superhero, we don't have the superpowers like them, but we connect, we relate to them. And there's one element here that I just want to tap on, and I was just having a conversation with one of my clients today on this, which is about evil. Because a lot of our kids, and a lot of us as adults, face different forms of challenges and things that are testing our own abilities and our strengths and challenges. So the question I want to pose to you guys is evil a test of your strengths or a test of your weaknesses? All right, because every superhero movie we always see the superhero almost dies, almost doesn't make it until the last minute and he goes on and saves the day. So at that moment, is that evil, that bad guy, is that a test of their strengths or a test of their weaknesses? Now, if you want to guess, feel free to put it in the comments, but a lot of people tend to go for it's a test of their weaknesses, right? But in reality, if you think of it from a different perspective, it's a test of their strengths. How well do you know yourself? How well are you able to overcome an obstacle? Okay, so these are great connections that we're going to find and we're going to take when talking about our first idea for bringing creativity into the home, and that's using superheroes as this. And I created a workshop that I want to share with you on superheroes, and it's an activity that we can do at home with our kids and with our families around the table. And I just want to pull this up here. So the purpose of this first activity, okay, is this is a mission, okay, and it's to establish a foundation for a new way to articulate the way we learn by using superheroes as that method, which also will be able to spark our kids' creative thinking. Okay, so the way this works is think about a favorite movie. If your kids have a favorite superhero, Iron Man, Wonder Woman, Spider-Man, it doesn't matter. Think of their favorite superhero movie, and here are the rules, okay? You gotta make it fun, okay? This is called superhero movie night. And if you're quarantined, sit separately, okay? But as best as you can, sit around as a family and watch this together, okay? Have your kids pick their favorite movie to watch, okay? And here's the conversation starter. Ask your kids, what is a superpower? And write it down. What is a superpower? What does it mean to have a superpower? Does it mean the literal to fly or shoot lasers out of our eyes, or is it something much bigger than that? Do you think superpowers exist today? And what is your favorite superpower and why? What is your favorite superpower and why? Now, why, this is important, guys. The power of why. It unveils hidden interests in why our kids like the things that they do. I'll give you an example. Child loves Iron Man, but at the same time, the child also wants to be an engineer when they grow up. They love how things work. Now, Iron Man's a machine. So do you think there could be a connection here? Maybe. So this is why we're able to see a connection between the things our kids love and the things that they're dreaming about and they're talking about. And if you want this worksheet, I'm going to just send me your email by posting it either in the comments or send it to me directly. and I'll be happy to send this worksheet to you. So I have a complimentary worksheet for the kids as well, for them to fill out. And it's like a little scavenger hunt for them to find different parts of their favorite superhero and why they're able to connect with each other. Now, when you're around the dinner table, here are some great conversation starters after you guys watch the movie together. One question is, when does the hero have to overcome adversity? Did they ever reject their talents? Were they ever misunderstood? Why do you think? What is your superpower in today's world? And what is your superpower? And obviously, guys, with great strengths come great challenges. So what are some of your current challenges? Maybe it's math, reading, maybe it's social, okay? This is a moment, parents watching this is an opportunity to connect with your kids in ways on a much deeper level. Share with them. Let's get vulnerable. This is a vulnerable moment. Okay, if our kids are about to share with us some of their challenges, let's share some of ours. Was reading also hard for you in school? What are you dealing with right now? This is a chance for us to connect in ways like never before. And I'm telling you guys, it is so awesome to watch transformations happening from just these little conversations. We're all together. This is a chance for us to connect. So this activity is great. Judy, I'll be happy to send you the worksheet. And again, guys, if you want to have this worksheet, this activity, please either message me directly or post in the comments, and I'll come back and message you guys also. All right. So, any questions on the superhero activity, feel free to post them in the comments, but I want to move on here. Okay, so the next is going to be a little bit tricky, but just follow me here, guys. Reading. Now, with reading comes a lot of imagination. You don't have, now when I say reading, it's not, you may not have to be reading the actual book, because for a lot of kids with dyslexia or just with kids with a learning difference, reading could be very challenging, as it was for me when I was a kid. So how do you do this? Because reading is very important and does spark creativity. Okay? These are imagination books, books that can use our imagination and get us thinking. What I did when I was younger was I either had the books read to me or I had them on audio. Now, here's the thing for the moms watching this, okay? There's nothing more calming than a mother's voice, all right? We're sensitive. We have sensitive ears, and we are very, very sensitive to different tones, and a robot reading to us is different than our mom reading to us. So if you have the time, the patience, sit with our kids. Sit with your kids and read them a story in a calm voice. Let their imagination run. Get them engaged. Ask them questions. Ask them as many questions and start a conversation around the book. It doesn't have to be just you reading to them. Invite them in to the story. Ask them, what do you think is going to happen? What are you thinking about right now? Is it what characters do you like? Have this conversation. Have it become a family evening, maybe once a night. All right, but read to your kids. If they're not able to read, if reading is hard for them, have it be a mother's voice or a father's voice, but make it calm and relaxed, and be as patient as you can. On this note, on calmness, I want to talk about music. Because as I'm an auditory learner and sound is very sensitive for me. I don't know about you guys and your kids, but if you have kids that are very sensitive to different sounds and noise levels, having a sound machine, whether it's white noise, calming music, orchestra, music without lyrics, just different tones that can help even the quietness. I find that I'm most distracted when I'm in silence and I hear sharp noises, and I'm more distracted than if I have a calm music playing. So another way to keep our kids creative and spark creativity is to have calm music playing, which will allow them to think a little bit more clearly and be more peaceful at home. Okay, so there's a few more ideas that I wanted to share that this may help if your kids are adventurous, if you guys like going for family walks together. One idea here is for when you guys go for a walk, have your kids collect different rocks, sticks, and flowers. And when you get back, have them come up with a different story. Create a story on what you collected. Ask them questions, and maybe you can pick up the story too. Pick up your own rocks, draw little faces on the rocks, and then let's present a whole story or a diorama on what you built. You can create an indoor safari, which is an awesome activity. This is so fun, right? Creating a safari at home with stuffed animals. If your kids have a bunch of stuffed animals, or have different fossils they like to collect, or different things that have to do with nature, create a safari, and with a phone, because kids love technology, guys. Let's empower them to be on the phone with a video and pretend that they're taking you on a safari, and they have to set it up in different rooms, okay? Again, this is a way for them to get off of playing Roblox and think of something else, because being bored, I don't believe in boredom. I think kids have lost their ability to really think about, oh, this is what I want to do. Maybe I'll go outside and play by myself outside. But now we're sparking the creativity, and we're having them use technology in a way that is in a 3D world, okay, where they can build a whole safari, or a way for them to show their creative side using a camera. And then you guys will also have a memory. Judy posted, I just want to read what she said. She said, FYI, Learning Ally is an audio platform done by human voices. You need a referral to join, but it was a game changer for my son. Judy, absolutely. Learning Ally is an awesome resource. It actually was instrumental in helping me throughout school. I got all of my textbooks, everything on Learning Ally, and yes, it was done using a human voice, and oh my goodness, the difference between that and my Apple computer's voice was huge, and it actually boosted my grades significantly. So yes, guys, Learning Ally is awesome. If you want to have a referral, please send me a message. I'll be happy to set that up for you. Some few thoughts on what not to do. Okay, don't pressure your kids to get straight A's. All right, studies are showing how highly creative kids tend to have spikier grades. Okay, in subjects that they're interested in, they tend to focus a lot more on, and then in those that they're not interested in, well, just like anyone that's not interested in anything, in certain things, they don't want to have that kind of interest in that, and that makes sense. Okay, so these creative outlets is going to help them have that confidence and have that fallback, so that they can have the energy to do the things that they're not really interested in doing. Let's see, guys. So I think this is definitely a chance for us to connect with our kids. And parents have thought of many ideas, and honestly, I have been blown away by the creativity that parents are doing with their kids. But the biggest one that I've gotten is that their kids are just nonstop on video games, and they don't want to stop. And this is something that I stress so much, is to build and establish technology-free zones. Okay, these are technology-free zones, like the dinner table or the bedroom. Okay, there should be certain places where our kids can use technology, but then places where they don't, so that we can have that separation. We can have that separation. In the video games, okay, a big recommendation is, as much as our kids want to play during the week, okay, you should have certain time limits to play the video games, because it's going to allow them to think of other ideas, to help them just use their creative outlets. All right. So that's just some different ideas on how we can be creative at home. Another big one are just different projects. Okay, just be present with your kids, all right? Ask them to invite you to teach you something, okay? Take a picture and have your kids edit it for you. And most importantly, if they have a hobby that they're interested in, they like trains, have them reach out to me, because I'll show you guys a tour of my model train set in a minute. But if they like trains, if they like building things, they like Minecraft. I talk about this a lot. Minecraft is great. My train set is like Minecraft, but in the 3D world. All right? It's my own world. I can do whatever I want. Okay? So if our kids are showing signs of Legos and they're building with their imagination, all right, let's invest in our kids. Let's think about different creative projects that they can get into. Maybe if you want to sacrifice a wall, have them draw on the wall, or if you know that you're going to paint over it one day, just allow them to be free. Allow them to be free and set them loose a little bit. It's all right. Set them loose a little bit. My parents were very kind in letting me, our basement flooded a long time ago, and instead of rebuilding it, they decided to build a table, and they gave up our finished basement to something that was important to me. And that's really the priority. Okay, if your kids are showing signs in something that they love, this is the most important thing, because when they get older and when they are struggling with different challenges, they will be able to have these creative outlets to fall back on. So guys, I want to just say thank you so much for participating in this workshop. And for those of you who are looking for more ways to get creative or looking for something specific, please feel free to reach out to me directly, either through my Facebook page or on my email, which is jake@superpowerconsulting.com. And if you do have kids either ages 7 through college, I do run a mentoring program for dyslexic and ADHD kids and young adults to help them build confidence by identifying different creative outlets that they naturally gravitate to build confidence around the areas that are challenging, which ultimately will lead to self-advocacy. Okay? This is not just a random conversation. There's a reason why we're talking about creative outlets. Okay? This is the foundation to embracing who you are, what you're good at, what's hard for us, and then that will give us leverage to build a high level of self-esteem, which will then lead to high levels of confidence, which will then lead us to have the confidence to speak to authority, those who don't understand. And that is going to lead us to our next workshop tomorrow, which is how do you communicate to those who don't appreciate or understand the way we learn. All right, this is one of the most challenging conversations to have that parents are having with teachers in schools and kids are having with their peers. Alexa just asked, why is creativity important? Thanks for asking that, Alexa. Creativity is very, very important because it allows kids to dream, to imagine, to use their brain in ways that isn't just logic. It isn't just get your homework done and finish it. It isn't just, playing video games. Okay, it's letting their mind run. And my trains were critical to my creative process, and that's really one of the most important things. And with that being said, I do want to show you a tour of my train set so that you guys can all see. So I built this when I was, again, in 6th grade, and creativity is not a neat process. It can be very messy. So this was just some of my projects. So thank you again for joining me. And tomorrow we're talking at 7:00 p.m. Eastern Time. How the way we learn. This is a big conversation. Bring your kids. Okay, bring the family. This is important. Guys, have a wonderful evening and talk tomorrow. Bye.